and we are learning the data binding. We have added the items, addition and the removal of the columns. Absolutely, in each and every project you would be needing this. Absolutely, in each and every project you would be needing this, and some more operations, right? Now, Angular, let us discuss some theory. Well, you don't need this theory. Structural directives. Angular structural directives. If you go to the Angular, there is official documentation. So ng star ng for we have used. That is one of the structural directive. Then we have used star ng if, one of the structural directive. Right. Now what do you mean by structural directive? The structural directives are responsible for HTML layout. Right? They shape or reshape the DOM structure. That's why they are structural directives. They shape or reshape the DOM structure, typically by adding, removing, or manipulating the elements. Yesterday we have completely seen the real-time project module by using star ng for, by using star ng if. This is star ng if, and this is star ng for. Right? And now we are discussing about theory. Structural directives are responsible for HTML layout. They shape or reshape the DOM structure, typically by adding, removing, or manipulating the elements. As with other directives, you apply the structural directive to a host element. Remember that in this case, your host element is, you have applied this star ng if. You have applied this star ng if on what? TD. This TD is a host element. So here you have applied star ng for on the TR. Well, you can apply it on the any HTML element that you want to hide or show, or that you want to iterate. Any, that can be page divisions, that can be spans, that can be anything. That absolutely can be anything. Now one thing about that, the asterisk symbol. So here you see the star prefix. So when you talk about star, remember that internally when you write something like this, star ng if hero, if you like something this, it would be something like this, which means that, let me create one more row. Now see, and in this row I would like to have a paragraph. In class, here you can say alert and alert info and some random text I am having. Now this page division I want to show and hide on the particular checkbox. Star ng if is equals to, what's the name of checkbox? Make a habit of collapsing like this and opening whatever you need. Is total checked. I'm depending on this. Is total checked, and you go here. Okay, now see the page division is getting added and page division is getting removed. But what Angular internally thinks about this? So Angular says that the Angular splits this star ng if into template tag, HTML template tag, and it is an improvement. Angular team has done some improvement with the template tag, and they created their own ng template. And they have created their own ng template, and there is a property binding ng if. Remember that. What do you mean by star ng if? Now you just need to remove this, and here you can say is total checked, right? So adding star ng if to this page division is equals to writing a template tag, then giving a property binding, something like this. One and same effect would be same, right? But whenever Angular sees that star ng if, Angular just convert it to the template tag like this internally. So I'm telling the internal working of that. That is nothing but the star asterisk. Now, if you see the template tag, right, HTML5 template tag, template, not free template, template tag. What is a template tag? Template tag is that tag which holds the HTML content but does not renders it until and unless JS will help you. See now, the HTML content template, right, is a mechanism for holding HTML that is not to be rendered immediately when page is loaded, but may be instantiated subsequently during a runtime using JS. What are you saying? The HTML content template element is a mechanism for holding HTML that is not to be rendered immediately when a page is loaded, but may be instantiated subsequently during the runtime using the JS. And ng template tag, and the ng template tag is an improvisation of the template tag. Remember that. Ng template tag is what? Improvisable, but mechanism is same. This content won't be, see, the content is available there, right? So let us write the template tag here, only template tag I am saying, and we can remove this and see what happens. Only template tag I have written. Can you see still there? You cannot see that particular div paragraph, but see, it's a normal HTML now. I have converted to the normal HTML, no star ng if, nothing, right? And Angular has improvised it by means of ng template. If the condition is true, then and only then load this div into the DOM, otherwise remove this div from the DOM, right? If you go here in the elements, this is your container, this is your app tab data, right? Now see, one div would be getting added here. Can you see? One div is getting added, div is getting removed, div is getting added, div is getting removed. So that's about the star symbol. So that is not a pointer. People ask me question, is that a pointer? Well, that is not a pointer. Star is not a pointer, but it is a sugaring syntax in the terms of Angular. What you can say, it is a sugaring syntax, and what it says that if you use the star symbol, you can avoid this ng template and other things. If you use the star symbol, you don't need to write this line, you don't need to write this line, just add star ng if is total checked. Star ng if is equals to what? Is total checked, and that's it. Either you write like this or you write like this, one and same. That's about the star symbol. Okay, let me push this much about the structural directives. Sorry, directives. Structural directives. Now in the project I have one more need. In the project I have one more need, and what's that need is, if I hover the cursor, if I click, you can say if I click on this TD, this should convert into the you can say this should convert into the input box, so I can edit the value. Are you getting that? If I click here, it should convert it to what? Input box. This should convert it to input box. This should convert it to input box. Now there is another directive and that directive is called as attribute directive. In Angular there are three types of directives. Component is also a directive, remember that. Then structure, I will come back to this point later on. We have seen the structural directives, and now attribute directives changes the appearance behavior of the element. The it changes the appearance and the behavior of the element. So this is your TD. If I click on this, this need to be converted to what you can say. This needs to be converted to the input box. That's what I want to do over here. If I click here, this TD would be there and it would be the input box. Okay, little bit difficult, or we can go with little bit easier. What that would be easier? Okay, if I hover it, I just need to give color to the complete row. If I hover somewhere, I just need to give color to the complete row. So adding the input box is possible, but for you it is difficult right now. But I just want to give a background color to the row, right? You can do this thing in a CSS also, but you can do this thing in a Angular also. Just a moment, let me think. Okay, let us try that. Now see, I am writing my own element, own directive. So you go here, there is a command also, nggd. What is that command? Not here, sorry. nggd, and you can say cell directive, tab cell, I can say tab hyphen cell hyphen project. See, I need to create it in the folder. Which folder? Data tab. So I can write that data tab here, data hyphen tab / data tab, and directive name is tab cell, and project name is what? Directives. So here when you see the recording, my photo would be there, my video, my face would be there, and that is going behind that. That's why I'm doing like this. Say nggd data hyphen tab / this is the folder. In this folder I want to create tab cell, and name of the project would be what? Directives. Hit the enter, and one directive would be getting created. Can you see? Under the projects, there is a directives, there is a source, there is a app, there is a data tab. Into that one spec file and directive file has been created. So you go here, can you see this? Under this folder, this has been created, and here I can say cell frmt, cell format, format the cell, clfmt, I can say clfmt. What's that? clfmt. I would like to have something like this, clfmt. Okay, so this is the name of my directive. Now I am going to apply this directive. On the each cell that you need to format. Each cell that you need to format. Just remove that. This is your table, right? If you want to format this cell, this TD means cell. If you want to format this cell, you can just name it, just attach this thing, and like this, clfmt. We are creating our own attribute directive, which will work as an attribute. There is no star to the attribute directive. Star is applicable only to the structural directive. clfmt, I have created something, right? Now remember that when you say clfmt, right, on which element you have attached this CLFMT, that is accessible inside this by means of element ref. So I can say there are two things, two dependencies are there, private ELRF, here you can say element ref, or just do one thing. So there is one annotation or the decorator, there is one decorator you have. So I have one property, you can say BKCL is of type string, right? Now this BKCL, I want to bound with this BKCL, I want to bound with one of the style of this TD, see what I mean to say. And at that time you can say at host binding, and what you need to bind, style dot background. See what I need to bound, style dot background. Okay, now I would be having one function on the click. You can say, if you are thinking about, if you want to change the color of the background, when you click on that element, you can say TD CLK, or you can say CLK, just CLK. And here you can attach at, host means that element on which you have attached this CLFMT. So in this case it is TD, you have attached CLFMT on the TD. Here I can say at host listener, and which event you need to bind with, I can say click event. Remember that this is a event binding and this is a property binding. Do you remember we have seen style in the property? So doing this thing is similar to writing like this, style dot background, So if you do straight away over here, you can do same thing in the directive, because complete element, this complete TD you will get inside this element by means of at host binding. Okay, now here I can say I just need to change the color, this dot BKCL is equals to red. See, I am just changing the data and that is going to get applied on the background property. Let us see what is happening. Can you see? I am clicking here and that is becoming the red. Are you getting that? Hello? See, here it is not applicable. Here it is not applicable. It is applicable only here. Why? Because you have attached this CLFMT on the one TD only, right? You can attach it to the row also. So I remove it from here and I can attach it to the row. If you click on the, can you see, particular row would be getting selected, right? Now instead of click, if you say mouse enter, it would be red, and mouse, here I can say MSENT, MSLV, leave, mouse enter, mouse, these are the standard Angular events. Mouse leave, mouse, can you see what is the event? I forgot. See, mouse leave is not working. I think mouse exit is there. Mouse enter and mouse exit. What is the event? Oh, mouse exit white. I think mouse leave is there only. mouse leave. Yeah, see now. We can say faint gray hash E8 E8 E8, faint gray color. Can you see this? This table. So host binding is, you're saying like that, on the host I would like to bind with one style property which is nothing but the background. On the host I would like to bound with the style property which is nothing but the background, right? And this variable is pointing to the style dot background. You can have multiple variables. You can say border brd, and I can say this is also string, s should be small, and host binding at host binding, and here I can say style dot border, right? Border is a style, and again on the leave and enter I would like to change. Event can be anything. brd is equals to 1px, sorry, 1px solid red, and there should be no border in this case. Why border is not getting applied? Style dot border. Okay, to the row borders are not getting applied in this way, right? There is some separate thing you need to do if you want to apply border to the rows. That's why it is not working. Otherwise it shall work, not an issue. Okay, so let me remove the border. Well, if you think that if you want to apply some class, so instead of style you can say class. Which class you want to apply? Say alert you want to apply, and here I can say al, or class dot text muted. Is it the same class, right? In a bootstrap. txt empty, and this should be the boolean. Variable should be the boolean. So txt empty, here you can make true. Txt empty is equals to true, and here you can make txt empty is equals to false. Muted text is equals to false. Let us see. Can you see text is becoming little bit faint gray? Can you see if I hover it? If you observe carefully, text is becoming little bit like this, means text muted class is getting applied. So text primary is also there, right? Bootstrap. Can you please tell me that? Bootstrap for text classes. Text uppercase, lowercase, or let's apply this class font weight bold, right? Font weight bold, or color, yeah, txt light. We can say txt success. Class I want to apply text success dot text hyphen success. So this class you want to enable and disable. Now see color. Can you see green one? It is changing the color green one. Attribute directive which change appearance or the behavior of the particular element. What is that? Attribute directive which change appearance or the behavior of the particular element. Okay, so let me push this much code so you can see. Attribute directives. We have created our own attribute directive. Can you please check that code and ask me the queries if you have any? I am stopping my screen share, pausing the recording.
For same thing.
Yeah, you can.
How many in same div we can write both attributes or
Yes. On the same directive you can write that, but you need to make one provision. I'll show you. Let's try that. So let me remove this right now. And you're saying that star ng if, right?
Serious.
Okay, I have shared my screen, but mic is here. Now, star ng if you can say is checked, is total checked. It will not work, in my opinion. See, there is an error. And of course, yes, compiler is asking what should I execute first. See, that's what it is telling, that you're trying me to do a for operation which is not loaded, right? And that's why it is recommended that you should take this if loop outside of this for, and this is a more technical. If you think logically, right, this won't work because the content is not loaded yet. Still error is there. See, the content has not been loaded. Do you agree, Priyanka? It's not logical writing star ng if. Let's write star ng if. Well, that's not the question. Whenever you are going to do that, it will give you an error. Why? Because you are performing operation on that tag which is not loaded. Are you getting that?
so how we can solve that?
Separate it. What you can do, if you want to do something like this, right? So your concern is that in that way, if this is true, then only then this for should work, right? You want to do something like that. So you can write like this: ng template and ng if is equals to is checked. Same thing is happening. this is something different error. Just a moment. We'll first solve the error. Oh, this is bug. Data table component. Just rerun the project. Okay. Now ng template and here star ng if recording is on, star ng if is total checked. Yeah, see now.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Compile it again, sir.
Why?
I don't know, sir, but shows error like this me also. Every time I have to compile this again.
Okay, just a moment. Yeah, can you see Priyanka?
Yes.
So you need to do something like that.
Okay.
So conditional loading, and if loaded, then only then perform the for loop, otherwise not.
Okay.
This is how you will solve the problem. Well, the technically there are very less situations, right? If there are some situations, you will do something like this. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Any question you have? Any question? Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Sir. What is the advantage of every time we have to write @post
At the rate.
post binding and post listener?
See,
Instead of
host.
that, we can write
Host.
CSS. No?
Please say that again.
Instead of that, we can write CSS. No?
Yeah, you can write the CSS, not an issue, right?
But
But just for
advantage of
see,
post binding.
this is what you can say a directive. This is what the directive. I have given you example by means of directive, and I have used styles deliberately. So how do you style on the directive, you should get to know. How do you write the classes on the directive, you should get to know. And how do you bound with the listeners, you should get to know. Otherwise, whatever we have done here, that can be done. Just a moment.